Day one of OTAs alongside Jeff Hathhorn. I'm Josh Rowntree, and Jeff, a couple of storylines. Pretty much as soon as we walked out there, we started to figure some things out, and I think the biggest thing today was that Stephon Tuitt, not here, did not play at all last season, and not here to start OTAs. That was confirmed by the team, by Mike Tomlin, several players today. And obviously, we'll see what happens, but there was some optimism that he will be here at some point.
Yeah, in fact, Cam Hayward just went out and said, hey, he's going to be here. He doesn't know when, but that he's talked to him numerous times, that he was hurting what he went through last year, but he had no doubt that Stephon Tuitt was going to play this year, which I think is a bit of news, obviously.
Yeah.
And good to hear because, as Hayward pointed out, he went through a lot of stuff that none of us can imagine, and it looks like he will be here at some point.
Yeah, Tyson Alualu confirmed to me as well that Tuitt was not here and said that he didn't come out and say directly that he expects him to be here, but he said that he was looking forward to what Stephon Tuitt can do with them this year, and he sounded very optimistic about Tuitt being a part of this team here this season. A couple other big stories. Mitch Trubisky.
Besides our blue shirts.
Yes, we got the memo today. But Mitch Trubisky obviously going through his first kind of real practice with the Steelers today, and he talked afterwards, and it's going to be interesting to see how things shake out at the quarterback position. One thing that I found interesting that he said was that when he signed here, he was not told that by the organization that they were planning on drafting a quarterback. Of course, they did with Kenny Pickett, and he did say that he always thought that it might be a possibility, but that he was not told explicitly that they were going to draft a quarterback.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm being Adam Schefter here looking at my phone. And Mason Rudolph, on the other hand, said that, hey, he feels like he's got a little bit of an advantage, at least right now, because he's been here, he knows the guys, he knows the system. So he's not just going to give up and say, I have no chance at this. I mean, he's going to battle, and neither of us can tell you what quarterback order there was today, but if you look at both of our Twitter accounts, you can figure it out.
Yeah, you can get an idea on the pecking order 1 through 4 of who was getting the snaps. I think the other thing to keep in mind too is, and something that Mike Tomlin kind of stressed afterwards, Jeff, is that this is a voluntary session.
Right.
So players that are not here doesn't necessarily mean that they're not going to be here at some point, or the capacity at which players work while they are here. Yeah. Also, you can't fully read into that either because it is a voluntary situation.
And he would be doing a disservice and probably violating something if he were to point out, like, hey, this guy isn't here, or I'm upset about this. That's what he can say at this point. But he did say, what I thought was interesting, is he kind of pointed at us and said, listen, no one's going to win this quarterback job in shorts out here in the spring. And he's right about that. And he was very like, hey, this is great. We're going through some things, but you guys are going to read way too much into the order or what is happening out here, as opposed to where training camp is going to be the true test.
That's what we do best, is read too much into things on day one of men in shorts.
That's right.
In an optional setting. So,
but hey, I will say this, a lot I guys were here.
Yeah,
there were only a handful of players that weren't here. So a good attendance first day with some new coaches, some younger guys. I thought the leaders showed up for the most part.
Yep, absolutely. We'll have a lot more on Mitch Trubisky. We'll have a lot more on Stephon Tuitt's situation and a variety of other stories for you at 93.7thefan.com.